spoken, my name is Brooks Alphin, and I am in charge of task mining and process mining globally at Johnson & Johnson. Just a little bit of background on Johnson & Johnson and who we are. We've been shaping well-being and being involved in people's lives from a medical perspective for the past 130 years. And we've been pioneering, new products, new life-saving techniques for more than a century. One of the interesting things about Johnson & Johnson is we're actually, diversity is really in our DNA. Half of our original employees were women. And so that's been something that has stayed as kind of one of our key principles throughout our lifetime as a company. During the Great Depression, our founders set up the Credo, which is really our statements of responsibilities to our patients, our doctors, our nurses, our employees, and our communities. And this has been with us for 75 years and really drives how we operate as a company and as employees. And we like to say we're Credo-based, but purpose-driven, meaning we know our purpose is to help people with their lives and improve their lives, but we need to do that in the right manner so that we are benefiting all of the right stakeholders. And I think most people in their heads, think about the number of companies in Johnson & Johnson, maybe the baby products when they think of Johnson & Johnson. But we are a really diverse company. We've got a consumer health, a pharmaceutical, and a medical device business. And these products are used, every day, whether that be at a nurse or at home from the consumer health side. On the pharmaceutical side, whether this be treating a heart condition or oncology or mental health. And from a medical device side, we have a number of products that help with vision as well as with surgeries, not just helping, with the surgery itself, but working to help folks bounce back from surgery sooner and be able to live more vibrant lives. Now, moving into the task mining space, I think the first question is really, what are we looking to get out of process and task mining? And really for us, that is that digital process discovery piece. And so in particular with our organization, we continue to grow in complexity with our processes and systems. We've got a number of unknown challenges in the future. And so you think historically that could be COVID-19 or 9/11. We've got rising consumer expectations and customizations that they're looking for. And we've got a continuously evolving and improving processes due to regulatory changes, due to internal changes. And so as we think about digital process discovery, we're really trying to bridge that gap between business versus IT, and really bring that process as part of the conversation so that we can have, exceptional operations. As we think about, even getting a little more specific on our interests and use cases, we're really looking at, automation. So we want to make sure that we are automating the right part of the process. Automation applied to an inefficient operation only magnitudes our problems. So with task mining, we're able to accurately map the process and then apply automation at the right places with the right logic to really make sure we are getting the most for the RPA investment. When we think about process improvement, we really are trying to capture that as-is process and document how our processes are done as quickly and easily as possible. So prior to these tools, we were still, having conversations with SMEs, using Post-it notes in a conference room and mapping out those current processes. But if we're able to use these digital tools, we're able to come into that meeting with our SMEs with a really good understanding of what is occurring in the process, so we can spend more time talking about why it's occurring or how it's impacting the process, so that we can understand that current state view and then build out the future state view, resolving pain points, making the system more efficient, whatever the goals and objectives might be. As we get into how we do this, this is our standard deployment approach. We spend a decent amount of time, chartering and planning with the different stakeholders to make sure we do understand what it is that they're trying to gain out of the project. We deploy the clients to the end users that we're going to be monitoring. And then over a 2-week period, typically we're capturing data from those end users. This varies a little bit in time. We need to make sure we've got a significant amount of data. We've captured the right pieces of the process. But typically around 2 weeks, we're able to get enough data points. After we've captured that data, we take that back, we analyze that, we investigate that, and we generate, the process flows as the task mining SMEs, so that when we go back to have those conversations with our business SMEs or our IT SMEs, we're able to have that informed discussion and get their insights into, process, why things are occurring in the process, why they would like to change certain parts of the process, which feeds into that solutioning, which is, a process redesign, maybe some automation, maybe updated documentation. It depends on the specific use case, or it really could be a combination of all three. So when we think about, outcomes, and just to kind of reiterate some of these, is really the first one is really to uncover that process. So being a medical company serving in a regulated industry, we have very clear SOPs and work instructions, but there are always hidden steps there in how you choose to perform some of those tasks. And so a good example of this might be, are we doing an activity for a single order, or are we batching and doing 10 at a time? And so those hidden steps, might not be documented, but they might be, best practices at different sites or different products that we can share globally. And so we're able to uncover some of those hidden steps. The second is when we do know that we're going to have to update our documentation, or that we've have a change in the process, we're able to capture the process flows as well as the screenshots and all of the necessary materials to really validate, update, or create SOPs and work instructions, which all feeds into the preparation for a guided learning, which is where we are able to train our users on the best practices on how we would like them to use our systems. And then the third use case is really that process redesign and process improvement. So we're able to capture that current state flow so that we are able to redesign the process, determine areas of automation or change, and broader, have the discussion around, is this a system update, is it a process update, or is it a business update? So that as we build new systems or make major improvements to systems, we're starting from a very mature place in terms of what is occurring today, so that we can make our future states better. So kind of as I was preparing this, I wanted to think a little bit about what are the challenges that we've had, and then what are the recommendations for those that are thinking about getting into the task mining space. And so the first is really, how do we handle some of the challenges, whether that be security, compliance, or legal, associated with task mining? And really, we've been very clear to our internal partners, and as we build out our approach, we needed to align this in our credo. The goal here is process improvement. And so we've been very lucky that we've been able to, present that in a manner where our stakeholders buy into that, and we're able to build out the framework from a security, compliance, and legal perspective to support that. The second piece is really some of the users have concerns or challenge a little bit around, this is, sitting on my desktop monitoring everything that I'm doing, conceivably, and where we come back is, we need to be transparent, and we need to explain to them why we're doing it, what we're doing, and what we're monitoring. We're not monitoring everything that they're doing on their computer. We're monitoring specific activities that are relevant to a process. And here again, they can turn off and on the client at any given point. However, with any tool, there's going to be challenges around unintentional data collection, especially when you think about the type of work that we're looking at for. There will be times that we have data that's unintended that we don't want to collect that we unfortunately do. And so we've created a data remediation policy. We share that very early on with kind of all of our users on what we are trying to capture, but also what we're not trying to capture. Again, this ties back to our credo. We're being transparent on what we're doing. We are showing the users the best way forward, and this is part of us understanding our current state process. And the last thing is really we've had challenges with users saying, what if I don't want this done? There right now we make it optional. Our users can opt out. They also have the ability to turn off and on the client at any point, so that if they are doing things that they're on lunch break, they're looking at Facebook or Amazon or whatever else, we don't need to capture that, and likewise we don't want to capture that. So we give those options to our users. We trust them that they're going to help us out. And oftentimes as we walk them through kind of the use case and what we are trying to capture, these are pain points that they've had for a long time. And we've not necessarily had the data or the knowledge to fix it. And so this is an opportunity for them to partner with us so that we can really understand that current state process so we can fix it. This is a lot of times the processes that we're going at are more complex, jumping across multiple different systems. So it's not as simple as making one change. So it needs to be a partnership. We need to have our users understand what we're capturing, but at the same point, we need to be transparent with them of why we're doing it, what our intentions are, and how their support is going to ultimately benefit us as a company and them as an individual. I want to thank you for all of your questions and attending today's session. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself.